Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another breakfast chat. And today we're going to do a part two of this one. Biggest topic currently going on in the strength world. And I feel this needs to be addressed again because I've had a lot of people tell me, hey Jason, all these goofy bodybuilders are saying, oh, this is why people shouldn't max out. And I know this upsets people when I say things like this, but in general, guys, bodybuilders are stupid. You probably shouldn't listen to anything they say. Literally, all of what they achieve is because of genetics and drugs. Most of them don't even know basic stuff about training. As Bill Starr said years ago, the coach Bill Starr, the average professional bodybuilder isn't qualified to coach a high school football team in the weight room. And that's a pretty damning statement. And what I mean by that is maxing out's not even dangerous. And I'm going to get into a minute of why what Ryan Crowley did was not maxing out. It wasn't maxing out. And no reasonable person or any coaches or any power lifter or anyone else's definition of maxing out, that was not maxing out. Only to the ignorant, goofy-ass, stupid-ass bodybuilding world does that count as maxing out. Because it was like 100 pounds more than his max. That's not how you max out. But let's talk about why maxing is safe. If you go look at any of the exercise science departments in the US, when you look at ethics, it is considered to be ethical and safe to have test subjects test their 1 rep maxes. Okay? This is what the ethics that is considered to be safe for study purposes under the guidance of researchers or coaches to have people test their 1 rep maxes in scientific studies. It's considered to be safe, not dangerous. All right? I'm in my 40s. I'm 44 years old. You guys have seen me do hundreds and hundreds of maxes. I max out multiple times every single week. How many times have any of you seen me get hurt doing a max? 0. I have never been hurt doing a 1 rep max. I've been hurt doing rep work to failure. I've been hurt doing pull-ups, ring pull-ups. I don't get hurt on maxes. Jason Leonardt, who you guys know is a friend of mine, at his gym, and he puts up the footage, he has housewives and grandmothers, 50 and 60-year-old women, max out all the time on 4 basic lifts. Has them max out all the time. They don't get hurt. Old women. My aunt, who is about to be 70 years old, who's going to USAPL Nationals this year, has never been hurt lifting heavy. She's almost 70 years old. 0 injuries. Done multiple powerlifting meets. A bunch of old women can max out without getting hurt. It's pretty safe. So, people say, well, why did he get hurt? We covered why he got hurt. What Ryan did was not maxing out. He took a weight, and everyone, because I went later, I said in the first video I didn't know if he'd been doing partials. I went and watched, people send me a timestamp link. I saw him doing a bunch of partials with 405, basically a limit set, to where he could not even touch his chest. That bar never got within 7 inches of his chest while doing the 405, basically is a limit set. All right, watch the way he handles that 405. What do we consider to be a gym max? A gym max means like a training max, as long as you hit 90% or more of your true max. Your true max is your psyched up, screaming, yelling competition max, everything that you have. Okay? Training maxes are what we do in the gym. 405 would have been a training max for him. He could not touch his chest on the rep work. That matters a lot. First of all, the guy didn't know how to perform an incline bench. He had no clue how to even set up or perform an incline bench. He had no idea the bar path. He had no idea where to put his elbows. This is a person who clearly does not have a lot of experience lifting heavy. Again, purely genetics and drugs. Young guy. Got in and just did a bunch of goofy bro stuff, but because he's genetically gifted and willing to use copious amounts of stuff, he was able to get really big. He didn't even know how to perform an incline bench. Elbows flared, wrong bar path. Okay? Had no clue how to even perform the exercise. Speaks volumes. Had he tried to do 405 as a training max, it would have been real hard. Had he actually come down and touched his chest and paused and then drove up, that would have been at least 90% of his max. That would have been a training max. Watch the way he handled that for those half reps. That was pretty close to a max for him. But here's what's not doing a max. A max doesn't mean you come in and you do a bunch of really hard work and fatigue yourself, then try to jump to a giant heavy weight. That's not maxing. Okay, notice that Larry Wheels in the same video did an AMRAP at 405. So I'm not going up to a heavier weight. Right, because Larry is actually a strength athlete and knows that that's not how you max out. That's stupidity. Sheer stupidity and ignorance. And that's what was displayed here. Nothing to do with maxing out. Because if you max out, you don't make 100-pound jumps to a lift that automatically just snaps you because it's heavier than you can lift. His absolute all-out max, I promise you, couldn't have been more than 430 on an incline bench. And I mean an incline bench, not a partial bench, because you don't just stop midway in the air on any sort of chest press. Okay, that's stupid. You don't do that. For a lot of reasons we covered last time. Everyone who lifts heavy knows this. We shouldn't have to tell you this. This is understood. It's stupid. You don't see powerlifters doing it because we know that gets you hurt. We know that's how you get hurt. Okay? His max is at most 430, so 405 would have been a solid, hard training max. When you were maxing, let's say he was going to go up, try to hit a max, you would probably do singles, not eights, from about 315 on. Might have come in and done 315 for one. One, not try to do a bunch of 8 reps, that's 1 rep. Then you add weight. You add weight in increments that you know you can get away with. You might have gone to 365, 385, then 405, and then decided, can I make another 20-pound jump? Can I go another 30 pounds? He went straight from a weight that was basically would have been a training max to attempting to do a weight that is higher than his max. And it's one thing to say, okay, I accidentally overshot by a few pounds. We do that, right? We miss lifts. Let's say it turns out our max on the lift really is 430 and we try to go 440. We miss the lift. Okay, it happens. That's still maxing out. You titrate up to the heaviest weight you can handle. You make individual jumps till you get there. That's what maxing out means. He jumped straight to a weight that was at least 60 pounds more than he had any ability to lift. So what does that mean? It means it was at least 10% higher than his true psyched up competition 1 rep max could have been on that lift. At least 10% heavier. Because I promise you 430 was probably all he could have done on an actual touch to the chest with a brief pause and driving it up. It's all he could have done. Not that that's not impressive. It is. Jumped straight to 495. And he got snapped up. Yes, if you do an exercise, if you attempt to, without maxing out, without titrating up on a max, if you attempt to lift a weight on any exercise with an eccentric component, in other words, not a deadlift, and you go 10% or more heavier than what your max could actually be because you just decided randomly to add another plate. Oh, I'm just going to magically just lift some weight that's way beyond my capability. Then yes, you have a very high chance of getting hurt. Okay, especially if you don't even know how to perform the lift like he clearly didn't. That's not maxing out. Okay, there's a difference between maxing out, which is safe, and just doing stupid ass, ignorant ass, goofy bodybuilder shit. There's a point where you see this stuff, and I really wish bodybuilders would quit talking about training at all to other people and just stick to the drugs, because that's what they know. All right, bodybuilders need to just stop talking about training in general for the most part. They should just talk about drugs. That's the only thing they know anything about. And all of that they know how to do is how much can I take? Can I take more? That's usually the extent of their knowledge there too. They need to stop giving advice to people about actually lifting. And this, with the responses that are out there, is an example of this. Don't max out, it's dangerous. You're an idiot. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.